Hi, today I'd like to talk about a strong way of articulating flies with more action. Okay, a lot of times when I'll articulate a fly, I'll use dumbbell eyes or bead chain eyes or something like that, okay, to anchor the wire that's holding the second hook behind with, and it's great and everything, but the problem with dumbbell eyes and bead chain eyes is, even though they walk on the bottom, really well in streams and stuff, when we want something that will do like a darting action, hunting, side to side and all that, they don't do the best job. Ball heads and cone heads do a much better job. I don't have large enough ball heads on me right now, so I'm just using a cone head for today, a gold color, because that works well in the areas that I'm fishing, the waters that I fish here in Malaysia. Okay, so we'll be starting with that. I'm using, for a hook, instead of regular typical hooks, I'm using a slow jigging hook. This is a pike slow jig hook. This is a 1/0 with a regular eye, a tie-on eye instead of the spade eye that they use for snelling. Okay, and I'm using a 4.5 millimeter solid ring in the front here. Okay, anybody that slow jigs, light jigs, speed jigs, is familiar with saltwater jigging, you know these solid rings. Okay, these stainless steel solid rings. This is stainless steel hard wire, very strong stuff. So I'm going to start with a haywire twist here. Okay. Ow, just poked myself with the wire. That is sharp stuff. 3, 4, 5. Okay, get in my barrel wraps. Okay, get a nice tight grip here and break this off. Let's see, get this cone head on. Okay, and you can see the cone head butts right up there. Okay, that's what we want. We want it right up there, and we're going to use the thread and materials to really push that up there. We'll get into that more. Okay, and the fact that the solid ring in front is so mobile, that'll also add for action. Okay, we'll come to that later. Oh, I'm bleeding where that wire poked me. Cool. Okay, now for this back part, okay, let's see, the last one fly I tied was using some rather thin, delicate stuff, so I had 6/0 thread. I'm switching up to my 3/0 thread for this. I haven't completely made up my mind how I'm going to be doing this one. Okay, the physical part of the articulation is my main objective here today. Okay, so I'm going to be tying this for the barramundi and mangrove jacks and such around here. Okay, we also have small tarpon and things like that, but they are not likely to take a fly this large. So, okay, put on some glue. I know that those fish are going to be abusive on this. Okay. That's really bleeding. Okay. Now, colors. Okay, I'm gonna go. This is going to be different. I really need to have a searching action. I do not want a lot of drag in the back. So, because of what I'm going to be doing in the front and the manner of the head and everything like that, I'm going to avoid natural fibers in the back of the fly. I'll go for it in the front, but not in the back because of the drag, the water drag. Okay, so extra select craft fur, Okay, taking out all the loose fibers. Now with craft fur, to get those loose fibers, I've seen people say, well, if you just flick it, yeah, they'll come out. I found easier way is just to grab, where you think your tie-in point and just pull out the loose fibers, because this is not like, bucktail or something where you have natural fibers or something. These are all synthetic. They'll come apart. Okay, now let's see. This is going to travel hook down. Okay, so I have to make sure I have my white all, on the bottom of this. So I'm going to tie on the two sides to create kind of a platform on here for my other thread. I'm just going to take my time on this. Okay, so this is on the one side. Not going to fold it yet. Take a little bit more, go to the other side. This one I'm going to be a little bit more careful with because I really want a good action here. Okay, I'm going to flare things out a little bit in the back just to catch some water and make the back wiggle a little bit more. Okay, 1, 2, spread this out just a little bit more. Okay. Tie this up forward, catch all of that. Okay, good. Okay, now, I need just a little bit more material here on the side here, just a bit. Symmetry is going to be important for this because of how I want this to swim. Some people say it's a synthetic fiber, it won't put up enough drag. Well, when you fold it over like the way I do, it puts up enough drag. Okay, so you have to be careful with your symmetry and make sure you get everything just the way you want it. Okay, there. Now, you can see it's even, it's almost to the top of the shank there. I'm leaving the very top bare because I'm going to put a different color up there. Okay, and then here, all nice and covered. I am going to put a little, what is that called? Baitfish emulator. Now, where did I put that? I put that down here, I believe. Yep. Okay, just gonna tie in a little bit. I'm just giving a little bit of flash. Okay, I'm gonna put that in on the bottom. One, two. I'm going to spread this out as well because I don't want to make, just one group of this stuff. I want it spread out a little bit. Okay, secure that in. Okay, now I need some flash. Rainbow flash. Okay, I'm going to use just one strand on each side because I'm going to double it. Okay, so fold this around, take it up to the side. 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's the mosque outside my house. Okay, let me pull up one more piece. This is going on the other side. This is going to be loud. Okay, now gotta tie in this other side. There we go, nice and secure. Yeah, the mosque is loud, but honestly, it's a beautiful call to prayer. This guy's not bad. I've heard some horrible ones before. This guy is nice. This guy is good. Okay, now gonna go with much more flashy on top. I'm gonna go with minnow back here. Okay. And just gonna fold that in on the top. Here we go. Okay, just gonna cut that a little bit. There we go. Now secure this down well. Okay. Now here, all of this is going to help to make it swim a little bit. Okay, it's gonna really get that water flowing, creating all sorts of vortices and such. Here we go. Create thread dam up here. Oh. Start wrapping back. Here, this is why you need the thick thread. You gotta really crank this down. Okay. And you can see how that creates bulk on the bottom there. Okay, now just whip finish this, continue with the rest of the fly. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna get a little bit more here just to build this up here. There we go. Well, he's done singing. So we keep going. Oh, this is coming undone a little bit. Let's get some super glue going here. Okay. Get all those threads. Good. Okay, now while this is drying, we're gonna get to the shank in the front. Oh, that's not good. Drop my bodkin off to the side. Okay, now, this fellow. We want to make this front shank the same length as the shank of the hook over here. Okay, so that means from not the solid ring, but just the eye that's holding it, we want about that far. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna set this up to dry. Okay, and now I need to make basically a nice loop eye here. Okay, now if that's gonna go that way, I want my loop to be this way. Okay, I'm choosing to make both of my loops in line. You can make them perpendicular if you want, but for what I'm wishing, and because you know you have the solid ring in front, but for me, I prefer to have everything in line for this. Okay, now I'm going to form that eye. Have to make the circle in front, this loop. I'm going to make this loop a little bigger. Not liking how that's sitting. Open this up a bit. Come on. Come on. A little farther. Okay. Okay, there we go. It's a bigger loop. Adjust that a little bit. Other pliers. Okay. Now, need to get this hook on. Okay. And you'll see because of that loop, it really moves well. Okay. Now, next thing, in order to make sure everything sits nicely, and doesn't come apart, okay, I'm gonna haywire twist this together to make a really solid connection. And it also stiffens the wire for easier tying. 3, 4, 5. Okay. There we go. Now, barrel wrap. I always use split ring pliers for the barrel wrap. I just find it a lot easier. Okay. Take this around this way. Break that off. Now I have to make sure everything's straight. Okay, take your time with this. Really make sure the shank is exactly the way you want. I know you can buy commercially made shanks, but honestly, the way those things are constructed, I don't trust them either. Because you're only using thread to hold on the wire. There are many ways there are many types of wire you can use, many different methods of connecting everything. But the moment you have just a loop in the wire and it's not wrapped or anything, is just parallel and held together with thread, I don't trust it. I've had too many things come apart from me that were commercially bought to trust something like that. So I make my own now. Okay, here we go. And yes, I have had some really, really strong pieces of wire commercially made. Won't name names or brands or anything, but I've had them start to open up. And once that loop starts to open up, I get rid of it. I won't take the risk because I've already had enough bad experiences. Okay, so I'm going to start in my thread wrap here. You can see with that haywire twist, the wire is a lot stiffer, so it's easier to wrap into. Okay, so wrapping into this. Okay, I'm going to wrap a little bit forward to grab that other haywire twist. Okay, you up there. And then just a bit of glue just there. Okay, hold that all together. Now, time to work magic back here. Okay. Okay. Oop, wrong one. Here we go. I need the extra select craft fur, not my regular craft fur. Okay. Now this stuff I'm going to be less careful and exacting with, because the head here is not so important as the back for swimming. The head has to be symmetrical in a lot of ways, but in a different manner. This one I'm just going to try to create bulk, the appearance of guts and everything like that, a rib cage. Okay, I'm going to tie in one side, then another side. See, how far back do I want this? I want this, yes, to cover there, so here. Okay, I'm going to tie on this side, 2, 3, adjust, Let's get another side here. Okay. Measure it out from the axis. 1, 2. Okay. Get that all adjusted. Okay. Then, once it's adjusted, crank down the thread, tie that in. Okay, now I'm gonna fold this back, capture all that, tie that all back in. Everything's getting caught up here. I'm going to try to pull this all around the vise without hooking myself. That hook point is very sharp. I've already cut myself today. I don't need to impale myself on something else. Okay, good. Now, okay, now you can see this is all gonna come back and look like guts on the bottom of the fish. Okay, I need some more the minnow back. So yes, this is gonna be a very flashy fly. Lots of golds. Apparently in the waters around here, gold shows up really well. So I just go with it. Yeah. Okay. Tie that in over here. Okay. Now that that's secure, okay, I could basically just build up one more layer. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Build up one more layer, and then I'm going to use just a soft hackle to build the head after that. Okay. Now, because of how this is sitting all on the shank and everything like that, I'm basically, and it's farther away from the vise, I'm going to go with one thick bunch. Okay. I'm going to go from underneath again. One, two, three. Make sure. Okay, adjust with your thumb. Okay, then I'm gonna wrap this up quite a bit forward. Let me see where I am. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm gonna fold this all back because again, I want all of this stuff here in the back to give the impression of the rib cage of the fish. Okay, minnow back. I need more than that. There we go. too much thread there. Okay, get that up here. Good. Wrap that in really securely. Okay, now what we have right now is a lot of white. Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit of baitfish emulator now because I'm about to go over to my natural materials. So I'm going to quickly get this in now. Get this on the bottom. One. Okay. Even this out. Okay. Pull that back. Yeah, if any viewers are wondering what type of fish am I fishing for that's breaking stuff that you can buy commercially, yeah, I'm fishing a lot for, you know, barramundi, but also a lot for things like queenfish and giant trevally, and those will mess up your tackle like nobody's business. So I've heard people talk about, you know, tarpon being tough, and yeah, they're tough. They're also really big. Here in Malaysia, we regularly, when we go offshore, okay, not obviously, I don't often bring my fly rod offshore, okay, but I do take flies with me, and I'll use them on conventional gear, and well, we pretty regularly run into sailfish and giant trevally and queenfish around here. Now, for those who are not familiar with the queenfish, it jumps a lot. It's very strong. It really digs. It's got a flat body. So with a flat body, that means it turns towards you and, you know, or sideways to you, and it really digs on you. It's a good fighting fish. Not the best eating fish you could imagine, but it's a good fighting fish. Okay. Now I need my soft tackle to build up this head and finish this fly. So using grizzly soft tackle, I think I can get a better piece than that. I need a longer piece. I might have to go 2 pieces on this. Yeah, I'll go 2 pieces. Okay, start with this one. Okay, tie that in, palmer this forward. And so the thing is, when you fish for fish that are that hard fighting and that destructive to your tackle, things that are built for fish that aren't so abusive on tackle, and then you try to apply it to hard fighting fish, well, you're asking for trouble, and that's what I did. It really was my fault. I took things that were now I got my bayfish emulator all caught up in here. I took things that were not meant for use with such hard fighting fish, and I tried to apply it, and that's what caused all those problems. Okay, it's not the fault of the manufacturer or the product, yeah, because they had a target market of trout and stuff like that, stream trout, which they do fight hard, but compared to the vicious creatures I was just talking about, those are bait. Those would be bait. Okay, so when you're fishing for things like I'm talking about, you have to have stuff that prepares you for it. So this rig that I'm setup that I'm using here, this is something that's strong enough to withstand them, the queenfish, the giant trevally and such. okay? This is all stuff that I've used for them before. And so I have confidence in it, and its ability to survive a fight with them. Have, of course, had a lot of failures, and that's how we learn, from those failures. So I've heard people say, well, you're overbuilding, you don't need that for regular fly fishing. And they're right. Regular fly fishing for smallies and stuff like that, you don't need it. The moment you're tackling those saltwater monsters, yeah, it's a different story. Okay, I'm making that tight to the head. Then tie it back to really capture the feather well. You cut off this spine. Okay. I might need a third one. No, that'll do it. That'll do it. Okay. So now I just have to find my my whip finisher. Whoop, one. Wait, before I do any of this business. Okay. Let me discipline this back a little bit so that I have less chance for all the fibers to get caught while I'm whip finishing. 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I am going to add one more feather. This is just not enough. It's not tight enough. I want it to be a little tighter so I have a little bit, better control on that head when I'm fishing. Okay. One. Stroke back the fibers as you palmer, as most anglers or most fly tyers already know. Okay. Capture the feather, fold everything back, cut off the spine, swallow some air, some soft hackle. And let's tie this in again. Two, 3, 4. One more. 2, 3, 4. Now, there's one little trick that'll help because I want to get some super glue in here, but that's tight. Okay, I learned this on YouTube. Just adding a little bit of glue right here on the thread here. Just a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to whip finish that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that just gets just enough to hold everything together. Okay. Form my V, pull tight. There we go. Now what we're left with is a fly with the rainbow flash lateral lines. You have this minnow back here. Okay, I got some loose pieces here. Okay, it's very well articulated. You can see that back half really moves a lot. Okay, that's back hook. I'm holding the hook back here. You can see that's moving a lot. Okay, you have a lot of movement from the marabou in the front. You have the rib cage by the back reverse tied craft fur on the bottom. Okay, you have what looks like the minnow belly, the flash scales from the baitfish emulator. Okay, so everything is here, and you have that little flash of gold up here with this cone head, and because of how that is, this is going to have a lot of action. It's going to have that searching action. So if I want to do, darting action like this, this thing will do it. Okay, so I hope I've shown some things to consider, to try with your own flies when you articulate at home, and I hope people keep searching for more and better ways to do this wonderful addition to fly tying. Cheers.